meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I'm extremely competitive, so when I got this weather wrong, I definitely dug around to figure out why. I watched it all last night. You heard it earlier this morning. Piddling on the roof, a little bit of ice making its way through. Then you saw good layers across the entire Concho Valley. Take a good look at these temperatures over the last 24 hours. It's a razor-thin margin when we're trying to figure out when and where we would see any snow, all the way down to 33 degrees, somewhere around 32, and then we warmed right back up into those mid-30s. Now, that's the difference between snow, ice, and then seeing all this rain across the entire area. Some pretty impressive flooding across the entire region, as well as all those trees are just covered in it. 36 in San Angelo, everybody else joining us in those mid-30s across the entire area. Now, I'm on the lookout for any of that ice as things start to drop into tonight. 38 up there in Sterling City, 35 down there in Junction. Take a good look at Menard, 24, 21 in Mason, still holding in within 17 degrees across the entire region, but that storm is on its way out. When we look at the moisture values in the entire region, dew points are up near those freezing levels finally, while the humidity indices are near that atmospheric tipping point. So we're still seeing a healthy mix of rain, ice, and snow heading off towards the east, but we have our eyes to the north for some of that snow to make its way in by Friday morning before we're finally in the clear and things will warm back up. Do you remember during the summer when it was like 100 degrees? I wish that was happening now, because this is the reason why we live this far south, is not to deal with this. Now, when we're looking at the moisture moving off towards the east, we're going to watch this cold front make its way through, and then we're going to see some of those warmer temperatures, but another cutoff low is aiming somewhere near the Four Corners over west coast of California, aiding with some of that firefighting. Now, it's not going to help them at all, but it's going to definitely warm things up here in the Concho Valley. Watching the long wave pattern push off towards the east, then we have our eye off the west coast again, somewhere by the middle of next week, if not heading sort of into the weekend of that third weekend of January. We're watching that cutoff low develop, but we have our eye on this ridging right here that could push us all the way up into the 70s before we cool right back down. Water vapor imagery showing you the winter storm barreling across the entire part of Oklahoma, while you see up towards the north they're dealing with their own form of snow. It's going to combine together for one monster storm before it takes aim somewhere around Kentucky and Tennessee, and they're going to see several feet of snow as well as Great Lake effect snow. Severe weather outlook right now just targeting East Texas, and you already heard Dallas and everybody else is going to deal with their own round of snow. Taking you down to the surface, showing you the satellite. Look how strong this system is. That's that cutoff low we've been tracking sort of all weekend and last week. Right now, over New Mexico, they saw another foot of snow across the entire area. It's going to make its way down the panhandle and then finally push off towards the east. And I think we'll only see a light dusting, if not a few flurries from it. It's going to be relatively warm. Now, we'll take you into the radar because look how strong it's pushing off towards the east. That's a lot of lift from the southeast, and still Brady's in the crosshair. It'll linger around, sort of explode near I-35, and then it'll be somebody else's problem. Right now, we're looking at the futurecast. There's where our ice should be, but things will slowly start to thaw out and then turn to the north from Friday morning. A little bit of snow makes its way in, so we're going to see that late start, and then it finally pushes out of the area for Friday, but it's going to drop all the way down into those 20s, so it's going to be a pretty chilly Friday night. So tonight, we're on the lookout for any of that ice getting awfully down near that freezing point, so if you have to go outside, please be careful and travel safe. Then tomorrow, up into those 40s as soon as the snow gets out of here. Then we're finally on the warm-up as we make our way into that weekend. We'll push up into the 50s, but we're holding on to some of those breezier conditions. Of course, we're looking at post-frontal light conditions. Then by that third week of January, still warming up into those 50s. But as we get closer towards that weekend, you can see us make our way into those lower 60s while we still push from those freezing levels into those upper 30s. Stay tuned. I'm up to the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.